You find yourself lost in Irvingland. Last time, our three main characters were in a part of this area that the crew hasn't explored before. You never know what you're going to find on an alien planet, like another cosmic vending machine. Despite the robot's repeated warnings, Will is silly enough to listen to Dr. Smith instead and starts fiddling with the machine. His intentions are good. Today is Penny's birthday, and Dr. Smith has persuaded him that he can get her a really cool gift out of this thing.
Do you think she'd like that?
I'm sure she would. Perhaps you should turn the gold knob, and then we will have the vehicle in gold. It's such a charming metal. Turn it off!
Great! Now which buttons do you push to get the rest of it? And is the rest as bent as that is? I think the machine may have some internal issues.
Perhaps the hand of an expert is indicated. Stand aside, my boy.
And when did he become an expert? 5 minutes ago he didn't know this thing existed, and 2 minutes ago he still didn't know what it was. Plus, if he's such an expert, why was he making Will try to guess which buttons to push? I know it seems pointless to ask such questions, but it's part of what they pay me for.
Now, let's see. What shall I order? Money would be so nice, except for the fact that there's no place to spend it.
We're looking for something for Penny, remember?
My dear boy, how could I forget that?
Forgetting about other people and only thinking of yourself is second nature to you, Doctor. That's how. More buttons and switches and Zachary Smith babble, and finally something happens.
Careful, Dr. Smith.
Never fear, Smith is here. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Warning! Warning!
Silence, Ninny!
Dr. Smith!
What was that he said?
Never fear, Smith is here.
Not anymore, he isn't. Penny said it was the best birthday present she could have wished for. Will rushes back to the Jupiter, too. John and Don are out looking for that radioactive fissure that we saw right next to the alien machine. Will explains what happened, and one time in her life, Maureen believes him. Probably because John isn't there to tell him he's making up crazy fantasies again. If he had been, it might have been necessary to backhand him and make him listen. That's usually what it takes. Maureen wants to know how this happened and why they were tampering with an alien machine. That's the wrong pronoun. They weren't tampering. He, i.e. Dr. Smith, was.
I issued all the required warnings. However, if I protest too much, Dr. Smith removes my power pack and I become a complete write-off.
That should tell them all they need to know about the cause of the situation. Maureen will try to locate the menfolk.
That android machine's sort of like a catalog that people can order things from all over the galaxy. What's wrong with that? Don't you get it? Now Dr. Smith's part of that catalog. Anybody could order him.
I think the robot pictured Smith laboring intensely for the rest of his days after he's bought as a slave by some lizard people.
How can you laugh when right now anybody could buy Dr. Smith?
I was bought. Believe me, it is not a bad way to go.
Well, you're different. You don't count. You're just a machine.
Oh, I see.
I'm sorry, Robot. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry.
That was cruel, Will. Who was it that saved you from the funny hat guys because he was more than a machine? Who dragged Smith back to the ship when he ran from the Galactic Tribunal? Who stopped Robbie the robot? That's one thing I did appreciate about young Will Robinson in the 1998 movie. His relationship with the robot was almost symbiotic. I think our Will takes his mechanical friend a little for granted. Speaking of our Will, he's determined to find a way to get Dr. Smith out of that thing. Maureen told Penny to keep an eye on Will, so Will says, fine, you can do that while I work on the machine. Take it or leave it.
There. Now see? I just turned it on, that's all. Well, be careful. I've got to get Dr. Smith's image on the panel.
There he is. You do recall that Dr. Smith is an active member of the U.S. military.
Listen, something dreadful has happened. Dr. Smith has been trapped in an android machine.
What's so dreadful about that? That's about the best news I've heard in weeks.
Oh, now, Don, please be serious.
Come on, Maureen. If he didn't make some kind of comment like that, you'd think he was sick with space virus or something. But they have heavier things on their minds, like that fissure they're looking for.
You know, from our readings, that fissure that opened last night has continued to widen. Now, if it reaches down to the core of this planet and the heat builds up, well, it's liable to blow.
So this planet is going to fly apart just like the last one. You guys sure can pick 'em.
We've got to find that fissure somehow and seal it up.
But Will found the fissure. It's right by the android machine.
Since you know they've been out looking for the fissure, next time lead with that.
I suggest you leave it alone. The machine is becoming overheated.
I'm just gonna do it once more. That can't hurt anything.
Warning! Warning!
I've gotta get Dr. Smith out. Well,
Or, stay with me now, instead of getting Dr. Smith out, you can mess around with it until you get yourself in. Almost the same thing, right?
Penny! Warning! Warning! Do not go near that machine! Electrical explosion imminent!
the machine has him too. Will's in the machine.
And going by those sparks, I guess he's gonna stay there until somebody buys him. If you haven't figured out yet from the episode title and the decor, this is a toy machine. Let's meet the guy who runs it.
What? Hey, let me loose! Let loose of me! Let me loose!
That will do you no good, no good at all, you know. It'll do you no good, no good. Oh, you've done it. You've certainly done it. You've broken my machine, probably. And it was the only one on that planet.
There's 7 people on the planet and they didn't know the machine was there. How much business was it doing? He's pretty well convinced that Will is some kind of renegade toy that escaped from a stockroom somewhere and found its way into the machine, and then broke it.
How long will it take to repair this machine?
It is impossible to estimate at this time.
Even if we get it put back together again, we can't be sure it'll work the first time around.
We won't get a second chance.
Is it that bad?
That fish is getting hotter by the minute. At the outside, we've got 24 hours to seal it up. And if we use a charge powerful enough to seal it up, we'll take this android machine with it.
And moving it will destroy it. So they have 24 hours to fix it and get Will out of there. Dr. Smith is negotiable.
Where's that order coming from, sir?
Oh, that machine is on a small planet near Orion. There are plenty of children there. Be patient, be patient, be patient.
But that's not what they ordered.
Well, it's the best I can do. I always do the best I can. They'll just have to take what they can get.
I think we're seeing why the machine was abandoned. Who was it that talked about asking your parent for a loaf of bread and they give you a scorpion or something like that? They're looking at a wind-up monster that has figured out how to wind itself up and be a nuisance. That's why you put the key on the back, genius. When Will hears something familiar.
Will, is that you?
Dr. Smith, where are you?
Over here.
Hey, no, you be careful, be careful. There's dangerous toys there.
Dr. Smith!
He's still having trouble believing that neither of these two is a toy. It's pretty clear he's been in here by himself for just a little too long.
You seem ready to ship.
Ship? Ship where?
There's a planet in Andromeda where the children have a particular preference for animated toys.
But I'm too big to be a toy.
Oh, nonsense, nonsense. You're just the right size. The children there are 75 feet tall.
How tall are the adult? You know, I'm not sure I want to know.
Oh, it's marvelous. Simply marvelous. That's what it is. The children on Andromeda will be utterly delighted. They've never before had a toy that eats.
Toy, indeed. I think we would like a drink now, if you please.
Oh, you drink too. That's excellent, excellent.
Wait a couple of hours. You ain't seen nothing yet.
Time for us to take our departure, my boy.
I don't know, Dr. Smith. Mr. O.M. doesn't seem so bad. I don't think he'd really ship us out.
He's mad as a hatter. But you may rely on me. I have considerable experience in these things.
He has lots of experience being mad as a hatter, that's true. Next question, where does he intend to go? He seems to think he knows a way out.
I mean, are you sure you know how we're going to get out of here?
Of course I do. We shall proceed to the area where we first arrived and await rescue. They will certainly not leave us in here.
I don't know. This just doesn't seem like the right direction. It's way too far.
Never fear. Smith is here.
Will ran screaming back to the Toymaker, begging for protection.
Dr. Smith,
Yes, what is it?
do you hear a kind of shuffling noise?
No. No, I do not. It must be your imagination.
I think we'd better move on.
In a moment, my boy. I must do my breathing exercises first. It's vital to keep the breathing regular. It makes the nerves steady and prevents one from imagining things.
Dr. Smith, look out!
Boy, you sure imagine good. On the surface, the boys are lowering explosives into that fissure to try and close it up, while simultaneously repairing the toy machine. John's plan is to take the robot and go in there himself to find Will. And that other guy, what was his name again?
Warning! Warning! Alien aircraft approaching!
That's not an aircraft, that's Mr. Zumdish. Is anybody surprised that he's mixed up in this somehow?
This is a machine that's creating all the trouble, I take it.
Does that machine belong to the Celestial Department Store?
Precisely. It's quite obsolete and should have been destroyed a long time ago. But there are hundreds of them scattered around these planets, and it takes time to find them.
Accounting is such a vague and imprecise business, as you know. He's with the Celestial Department Stores, specifically the Demolition Division. He's here to demolition this machine.
2 of our people were taken by that machine, and we intend getting them back.
Surely you can't hold the Celestial Department Stores responsible for that?
Good to know he has his priorities in order. John says we don't care about liability, but we're going in there and getting our people out.
You mean go into the machine?
Unless you've got an easier way for us to get our people out, Zumdish.
Well, I'm afraid that's quite impossible out of the question. My orders are to destroy this machine immediately. Now, would you kindly step aside? You question my authority?
And you will respect my authority!
Nobody's questioning your authority, just your timetable. It doesn't work for us, so change it.
Don't go near that machine, Zumdish.
My dear sir, you have no idea how much trouble you're about to cause yourself. Stand aside!
As I said, change it. He makes a few notes and then gives them 10 minutes. No more.
We've got to keep moving, Dr. Smith. Maybe we can find a place to hide.
Hide indeed. The very idea is anathema to me. Zachary Smith hides from nothing.
Oh, come on, Dr. Smith!
Running in terror, however, is acceptable. Will has found something very interesting.
Dr. Smith, look at this!
What is it? Good heavens. Is it really there?
It appears that if they can get that door unboarded, it can take them straight to Earth. And it's Christmas time. Isn't that appropriate? Because going home would be the greatest gift of all.
Quickly!
Hurry, Dr. Smith!
This nail is rusty!
If they get the door open, I'm not sure they want that following them through. The Toymaker appears and stops everyone from doing everything. Now the monster has Will mopping the floor while Dr. Smith gets a touch-up.
Ah, that's better. Very lifelike.
Perfect. Now ship him to one of those 75-foot tall little girls and she can put him in a nice dress and wig and he'll live happily ever after. But Will says he doesn't look right. He should be wearing a clown suit. The Toymaker agrees, except he doesn't have one handy. While he goes off to look for one, Will unties Dr. Smith and grabs the key from the monster so it can't follow. John and the robot are inside the machine. Don is outside with the detonator to the explosives in the fissure. Zumdish can back off, or Don can blow up the fissure and contaminate everything in the area, including Zumdish's ship. Guess who backs off for now? And guess who had a spare key? He kept it in one of those magnetic things under his left horn.
Please, Mr. Owen, don't let the monster hurt Dr. Smith.
All right, that's enough, that's enough.
Back to the workshop again. But the Toymaker is confused.
You wanted to go through that door, but you didn't. Why?
I couldn't let the monster hurt Dr. Smith.
He wanted to go through, but he didn't. He could not have opened the door because only the pure of heart can open the door between the 2 dimensions. And a toy has no heart.
He finally comes to the conclusion that this must not be a toy, which is what Will has been telling him for the last hour or so. He says, "Great, you can be my apprentice." Will has other ideas, but they can't discuss it now. There are intruders about.
Can you blast us out?
It's no use. It's no use. You can't get out.
But one of the intruders has his attention. He says, "What kind of toy are you and where's your key? How do you wind up?"
I do not wind up, nor do I run down. I am powered by solar cells.
Incredible. A toy that does not have to be wound up. Oh, I've been out of touch too long.
John is marveling at all the toys. This guy is a mad genius. The problem is, Celestial Department Stores forcibly retired him, without letting him out of the system to go have a life. Mr. Zumdish was concerned about liability. This guy should have Celestial Department Stores and Mr. Zumdish by the mustache.
Say, how would you like to have your own workshop? With everything in it?
Oh, I'd like it. I'd like it. Yes, I'd like it.
Well, I can't promise, but there's a very good chance.
Hey, after you win your lawsuit, you'll own Celestial Department Stores, so you can do whatever you want. All we have to do is get everybody out of here. Meanwhile, Zumdish has been holding out on us.
I'm very sorry, but I run out of time.
You can't do it. They're still in there.
They will have a few minutes before the activator creates a vacuum.
All right, enough is enough. How many space credits does it cost for Celestial Department Stores to teach us poor, ignorant Earthlings how to do that? There isn't much Don can do. He's tough, but Tiger Joe Marsh is tougher. I've talked about him before. He doesn't get to have a character name and he doesn't get any lines, but he's a nice bit of unforgettable.
Warning, warning! A vacuum activator has been placed on the machine.
We've got to get out of here. This whole place is about to be destroyed.
The Toymaker is having trouble grasping the idea.
I must go sit somewhere and think this out.
Now, there's no time for that. We've got to get out of here now.
But I can't leave here. Where would I work?
But we'll get you another place. A bigger, nicer place.
With those things that keep the toys from running down?
I'm sure that can be arranged if you just show us the way out of here.
He does indeed have such a thing. Oh, please keep the hat. Once everybody is out and the machine has vanished, it's time to yank Zumdish around a little.
This has been one of the renegades who has been operating our outmoded machines.
Not one of the renegades, the only one. That man, Zumdish, operated all those machines. And if it's caused a loss to the Celestial Department Store, we'll be very glad to make it up out of profits.
Profits? What profits?
Oh, the man's an inventive genius. We're going to set up a factory here.
Translation, the Celestial Department Stores now have some major competition, so brace yourself. Here's a little demonstration of one of his instant toys. You are correct. We're looking at Penny's birthday present.
He was in our machine after all. That gives the Celestial Department Stores exclusive rights to him.
No, sir. The Celestial Department Store gave up those rights when they retired him.
John Robinson is a better con man than Dr. Smith will ever be because he actually knows how to be honest and has established himself as an honest man. So when he starts jerking you around, you follow like a horse with a bridle.
Retired him? We retired him?
Nobody else did it, so you must have done it. You must have done it.
Somebody's head will roll for that.
Tiger Joe picked him up by the back of the collar, slowly turned him around until they were eye to eye and said, "Don't even think about it."
You're a reasonable man, Professor Robinson. You have nothing here to give him. We can supply him with his own department, all the workers he needs.
And cells that never run down? I must have cells that never run down.
Everything you need, my good man. Full reinstatement. Top salary. How do you like that, my good man? Professor Robinson, you surely won't stand in his way.
Whatever's satisfactory to Mr. O.M. is certainly all right with me.
You sure do drive a hard bargain.
To seal the deal, Zumdish also has a device that will seal that dangerous fissure.
That's it, straight, right, down, that's it.
It'll never work, Zumdish. I don't know what shape that fissure is, but it's certainly not round.
That's our Model 512 Deluxe plug. It will conform itself to any shape opening. There, that's it. A perfect seal.
He put a cork in it. I got nothing.
In case you wish to order another one, remember the model number 512 Deluxe. Remember that.
If they need another one, they need to find another planet. I think Amazon took their cue from him as far as suggested items that might interest you. If he really wants to suggest something useful, he might suggest another dollhouse that won't fall apart when Penny picks it up at her birthday party. Which she did, and it did.
Are using anything like that to make rain, Dr. Smith?
Really, my dear boy, sometimes your ignorance of atmospheric chemistry is appalling. Making rain is no more difficult than making light pastry once you know the formula.
They really need rain, but I doubt that Dr. Smith's attempt at cloud seeding is the answer. He mixes some random chemicals that he stole out of the ship and creates a missile that's supposed to explode over the one load cloud in the sky and make it turn into a rainstorm.
Oh no, I think it's headed for the Jupiter.
Ridiculous.
Will Robinson is correct. Your calculations are snafu, Dr. Smith.
Is anybody surprised? We do remember what the SN part of snafu stands for.
It's going to hit the ship.
Everybody behind those rocks, quick!
It's pretty well impossible to take this episode seriously, but I did enjoy Walter Burke as the Toymaker. He had a knack for playing that kind of character who talks fast and has trouble staying on topic, which may be why in the course of his career he found himself playing a leprechaun more than once. Between his performance and Fritz Feld's return as Mr. Zumdish, it was a kick. It may be a science fiction show, but it doesn't have to be serious to be enjoyable. It just needs the right people having fun with their roles. If you enjoyed this episode, click the like button and let us know. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell so you always know what is happening, because something is always happening here at Irving Zoo. We make sure of it. We control his computer. Until next time. Achoo! Achoo! Come on. Oh, you dirty bird.